Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Talk with AVC. My name is obviously AVC. We are kicking things off with our MLB segment. And, gentlemen, I apologize in advance. I may get very triggered as this segment goes on, but we shall see. Starting as a more positive note before I start going off on a tirade here. Position players reported yesterday, and as of this weekend, starting on Friday, I believe the Rangers in a spring training game. This will be this past weekend was the last weekend without baseball until November. So that's good to look forward to. Baseball should be starting up soon, and it will be nice to see the guys back on the field. There have been some new rule changes, most notably the 3-pitcher minimum now. The 3-batter minimum for pitchers and the 26-man roster. So just to quickly break those down, the 26-man roster, before it was just 25-man. You can only have 25 guys in the locker room and on the team at a time without calling up and sending people down. Now you will be able to have 26, so an extra guy off the bench or an extra bullpen arm, whichever your team would prefer. But it'll prevent those 3-man benches that you've seen from AL teams. They'll probably have 4 guys and they're still able to carry enough bullpen arms. However, this rule is odd considering the other rule change, which is the 3-batter minimum for pitchers. Now, if you don't know what that means, basically means this. If I bring in a reliever now to replace another reliever, the reliever before has to have thrown to at least 3 complete batters. So an example, a pitcher comes in, I'm going to use the Yankees as an example. Say Zach Britton comes in the 8th. And he doesn't do well. He gives up a base hit, and then he gives up a double to the next guy. I, as a manager, would have to leave him in to face the 3rd guy. I'm not able to take him out and replace him with another pitcher. Which, quite frankly, I find this rule to be ridiculous. I understand the reason why they did it. They think this will help speed up the game. Less bullpen changes, things like that. But it hurts a lot of the strategy of the game, and it's going to kill pitchers who are specialists. Like, you can throw righty-lefty out the window now. As it's going to be meant mostly for, I don't even know how they're going to do them, 2 outs maybe, and I don't even know. It's going to be weird. And pitchers are definitely going to have to learn to be able to do more than 1 to 2 batters when they come in. They're going to have to be able to pitch at least an inning, probably. So now we get to the major talking point. Do you remember how in my last MLB segment I kind of said we were moving on from the whole cheating scandal? Yeah, well, that went out the door really quick. So, if you're not aware of what's been happening, there's been a lot of star MLB players have been coming out against the Astros, complaining and basically speaking their mind as is their right, and about how they've lost a ton of respect for the organization and the players as a whole, and they believe players should be in trouble for it. Now, in response to this, Dusty Baker, the new Houston Astros manager, is concerned about retaliation, such as players getting dinked by pitchers, specifically in spring training or during the season, and wants to have protection for his roster. So the commissioner of baseball, Mr. Rob Manfred, comes out for an interview on ESPN. Oh, I have lost complete respect and faith in Manfred as the commissioner of baseball. What was his reaction to this whole debacle? We need to protect the Astros. He is currently in works of creating probably a suspension system for players getting hit by pitches, which isn't something, unless a pitcher then tries to have a fight, is something that you can actually tell was on purpose. It now wants to defend the Astros. There will be no punishment to Astros players, and let this be known that any player who dinks any pitcher who dinks an Astros player will serve a longer suspension than any Astros player did for cheating. And let's just put this out of the way. It is 100% confirmed that they cheated. It is confirmed when they cheated. It is confirmed how they cheated. There is no debate about whether they have cheated or not anymore. There's just no debate about it, and it most likely continued from 2017 onward. Later in the interview, pitcher Yu Darvish from the Cubs, he was on the Dodgers at the time in 2017, said that the Astros should have the World Series stripped from them. Quite frankly, I tend to agree. So Manfred was asked that in this interview, and this was his actual response. Removing or returning a piece of metal will not change anything. Ladies and gentlemen, the piece of metal he is referring to is the World Series trophy, also known as the Commissioner's Trophy. And at this point, it should be named, the 2017 one should be named the Rob Manfred Memorial Trophy, because that is how players and execs are beginning to feel about him after that comment. Quite frankly, I think this is utterly ridiculous. Strictly for that comment alone, you are just single-handedly trying to destroy the integrity of the game of baseball. Not only are you basically promoting cheating by not setting a stronger precedent against it, but you are calling the biggest prize in your sport a piece of metal. Sir, do you know that every single ball player around the world, from Major League to Little League, has dreamed of getting the hit or making the perfect pitch to win said piece of metal? As Justin Turner of the Dodgers put it after he was irate with how Manfred conducted this interview, we are not working over 100 days over 200 days a year, and sacrificing other time in our life to try to get a piece of metal. They are trying to win the biggest prize in all of baseball, and that is the World Series trophy. And you, as the commissioner of baseball, have completely disrespected it and the game in general. Quite frankly, I think Rob Manfred should be removed from the commissioner position as soon as possible. And I think if this nonsense continues, I believe he will be. And quite frankly, the only reason Astro players are not being punished is because Rob Manfred is afraid to get into a argument with the MLB Players Union, which I can't imagine this would be that hard of an argument, because from the Players Union's perspective, they have players hurting other players with this whole thing. You have ruined pitchers' reputations with this whole thing. It's just a mess. And the MLB, or Rob Manfred in particular, kind of seemed like he just wanted to say, like, okay, let's just get through with it and let's see if it'll just go away. It's not going away. And it's striking to me that Little League teams, because anyone doesn't know, over 200 Little Leagues around the country have banned the Astros name as one of the selected names for their leagues. Little League has done more to punish the Astros than Rob Manfred has. And if nobody knows what the punishment of the week punishment was that people keep referring to, this is what it was. It was 2 first-round draft picks, a fine of $50,000, something like that, maybe $100,000, and obviously the GM and the manager being removed. Okay, let me just put this in simple terms. The money means nothing. That is just the highest they've ever sued, they've ever fined a team, and that's nothing compared to these millions of dollars that it takes to run these teams. And the draft picks, people don't understand in baseball, a couple first round draft picks does not mean as much as it does in, say, football, where every year you need a new piece for your roster. In baseball, you draft a guy, you're probably not seeing them for another 6 years anyway. And the Astros, with the Astros roster being the way it is, though nobody really knows how good it is now, with the roster being the way it is, nobody's really concerned about a few draft picks. Manager is a pretty overrated position in baseball, and if you're just promoting the GM from within the organization, how are you fixing the problem? Quite frankly, my opinion is this: if you're the Houston Astros, honestly, and this might be weird to say, but I would keep cheating. I mean, the real thing is, why would you not? You get the World Series, you get like no punishment. The commissioner's afraid to actually go after your roster. Why would you not keep cheating if you can win? There was a great quote by Gleyber Torres where he plays video games with Luis Severino sometimes in the locker room. And he literally said, if we're playing MLB The Show, which is the baseball video game, and I can see Sevy's controller, I know what pitch is coming, I'm going to hit well and I'm going to win. And if he doesn't say anything, I'm going to keep doing it, because why would I not? What he's referencing is that compared to the Astros, why would they just not keep doing the same thing? And quite frankly, I agree with him. Why would they not just keep doing the same thing unless a precedent is actually set to where if you do this form of cheating, you cannot win the World Series? You've even got the best player in baseball in Mike Trout coming out and bashing these guys. He's saying he's lost all respect, saying, do you know how helpful it would be for me and the rest of the team if we knew what pitch was coming? You think about Mike Trout. Mike Trout hits about 330 and he doesn't cheat. Think about what he would hit if he did. If he was on the Astros, I think it would be too obvious. I think he'd be hitting in the 400s. And this whole Altuve didn't actually cheat thing, there is a actual graph chart that experts have made based off footage where you can hear either trash can banging or something along those lines when Altuve's at the plate. So let's get that out of here. And also the whole tattoo thing, Correa, really, of why he didn't want to rip his jersey off. There was shirtless pictures of the Astros shown recently, and there is no sign of any tattoo on Altuve's chest. So let me just put this to bed here in this segment, is that the Astros have zero defense for this, but the commissioner of baseball is not actually doing anything about it. Quite frankly, it's pathetic. It's disgusting. He is hurting the integrity of one of the most beautiful games in the world. Quite frankly, I am just disgusted in how the commissioner has treated this situation. And I hope for the sake of baseball as a whole, the players on every other team, and anyone who has grown up wanting to win that piece of metal known as the World Series trophy, I hope and pray he is removed very soon, because I can't support a commissioner who thinks cheating is okay. All right, that's going to do it for this MLB segment here on the Talk with AVC. I'll probably have a little bit more to talk about besides the cheating scandal next week when spring training starts up. We're going to move now into our XFL NFL segment next. So, yeah, join me in the next segment. I'll see you guys there.